Hi, I'm Sam Blue from SkreetKar3D. I've been in the aftermarket performance world for several years now. I specialize in scanning, reverse engineering, and making performance parts for the S550 Mustangs, S197s, transitioning to the S650s, as well as some new edge Terminator performance applications, particularly in the throttle body intake conversion on a lot of supercharger platforms, the TVSs, Kenny Bells, and my specialty is Whipple Supercharged. I've actually been using 3D scanning to actually help me in this world. Been able to take very expensive performance orientated throttle bodies, scan surfaces, mirror locations, and actually make thermal spacers for those applications that actually resolved a lot of the check engine lights, failed shifts, fail safes, all kinds of stuff that happens with the newer platforms that are drive-by-wire. But this is actually my home shop. This is my GT500. It's actually parked right here in my new Edge. But I'm actually going to be demoing something pretty neat. I've been using Revopoint scanners for several years now, starting way back to like a Pop 2. I went from a Pop 2 to a Mini 1, and then I think after that it was a Range and the Pop 3, Inspire. I pretty much had the entire lot, including the Metro X, which is an exceptional 3D handheld 3D scanning device. Unfortunately, on that device, it does have a full field mode, which can scan by features. It also requires in laser mode to have marker dots or global positioning. And this is actually my scan station right here. So I have turntables, dual axis turntables. I have pads with marker dots all over them. I use this as a backdrop so I can actually get some tracking. I have all my markers. This is actually my home scan station. This is where most of the parts that I make and design on my own happen. And for today, I'm going to be demoing a new product. You probably see it right behind me. This is the new Tracket. This fancy guy right here is the new Tracket scanner from Revopoint. It has not been released, so it's going to be coming to Kickstarter very soon. Um, I was fortunate enough to be one of the beta testers. They sent this to me from the Rapid, the show they had in Detroit, Michigan, the Rapid THC event. They demoed and premiered the new scanner there, and I was fortunate enough to get the actual scanner that was actually in the display booth being demoed to everyone sent directly to me. So I'm I've essentially unboxed it, been able to make sure everything powers up and everything functions correctly. But what I'm going to do is just let's try to do a live scan. So I think this is a 423 valve cover gasket. It's nothing fancy. I'm pretty sure no one's crying to have a reverse engineered valve cover from a 2.3 platform. But this is black plastic, one of the worst items to try to scan. I can't tell you how much of a pain in the butt to scan this thing would be. It's sometimes you got to you have to merit the scanning material. If you're going to use a $60 can of Ace of Blue to scan a part, is it worth reverse engineering and scanning and putting the effort? Or are you going to try to talk the customer into being able to use something like Ace of Orange or even Athlete's Foot or dry shampoo, because you're going to need to be able to scan this and repeatedly scan it without it fading away. My garage is heated and cooled, but if this isn't recent, should have done it a long time ago. But prior years, when I was scanning something that's supposed to last several hours, it would fade away right away. So this is one of the merits of actually having a laser scanner. So I'm going to try to get these screws to stay up because it has captive bolts. Of course, if you're trying to scan this and those bolts move, you kind of lose tracking. Whose fault is that? Well, it would be your fault, not the scanner. So I've got those popped out. what I'm going to do is a little cheat. So, yes, laser scanners can scan black and shiny objects. So can't scan transparent items. So this is my little cheater. Basically use this as a method to raise this off the platform and be able to scan it without having a good surface I can just chop off. So this would help me scan it correctly. Now, most scanners, I would just use my laptop screen to view everything that I'm looking at. Well, on this case, because it's big, and I'm actually going to be using the Tracket to keep track of everything where I'm at, I'm going to be using my 50-inch Samsung screen up there. Now, in order to get everything in frame, you have to be away from this device. You can't be too close to it. So to get it out of frame, you may not see most of the screen, and you may not see most of my laptop. But you'll get the gist of what it actually does and how it performs. Okay? This thing's been ready to rock for 5 minutes now. Hopefully my laptop doesn't freeze up. So let's just go ahead and see that you can see the screen. I have the device ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and scan. All right. Now, you don't want to touch the part. The item cannot move at all with the Tracket device. That has to stay stationary, and this has to stay stationary. You cannot have this on a rotating platform, which you can do on the Metro X. On this is a different method of tracking. That guy is keeping an eye on this. It does not care what I'm looking at. It's only looking at this. So essentially we have two 3D scanners at the same time. Pretty cool. So let's go ahead and see if I can't. I'm going to be looking at that screen, and I'm going to look at that screen. So, oh wow, look how quickly that picked up. I mean, that's black plastic. So you want to stay in the excellent field. Now I'm going to zoom in with the zoom button on the back of it. And we're just going to go over the product. I mean, this is black plastic. This is usually a no-go without any spray. And I'm able to pick this up quite easily. Now you see those studs that I stood up? Those guys are just standing up right there. Okay, I do realize I'm probably blocking the screen right now, but I'm going to be walking around, so give me 1 second. And I do highly recommend having a dual monitor setup if you decide to use this product, because you're going to be constantly walking around, and you're going to need the freedom of looking at. Right now I'm looking at the laptop, but in a few seconds I'm going to be looking at, yeah, I'm looking at the TV screen now. You want to stay in the excellent range. So I'm just scanning over this pretty easily. I mean, it's amazing that we're able to pick this up without any scan spray. So I'm going to stop, walk around, and I'm going to look at this monitor now because I can't see the screen. Looks like I'm blocking the Tracket device. So let's just move over here and just scan this way. Now you're going to want a lot of room to scan with this, just because you have to be so far away from the Tracket device. Let me move this screen out of the way. Okay, now I can get that front half. And what I would probably do is, if I wasn't trying to capture this guy at the same time as I'm filming, I would probably move this out a little bit further, but look, I'm able to get into that crevice. And essentially just going to keep on going until you see everything you need to scan. So I'm at 8,500 frames. And I'm just going to go ahead and capture that. And like I said, for something that's not using any scan spray, this is amazing. If you never used a 3D scanner before, you're like, okay, it's just picking up there. But if you actually used an infrared scanner, or essentially any scanner, black plastic, unless you're looking at a 3D, unless you're actually using, so here's the benefit of having the Tracket. See, I'm off the frame. It's still seeing the scanner. And I can come over here and get the side. And it still sees the scanner. So I'm trying to get this side right here. I'm a little too close to my bench. And this is just my poor planning. But we're going to work it out. See? Just going to wait till everything's painted in green. Now, I don't know if you're noticing it, but the Tracket device, when it loses scanning, it will flash red. So if you don't have the ability to see your screen, you could essentially just pay attention to it. It will stay constant green when it's actually being able to see the scanner at all times. But if I decide to come across, you see it's flashing red at this point, and it came right back up. So I am getting this side. So I'm gonna I like to scan at different orientations. So I'll make passes like this. But so now I got to get in there. And that's getting in there. You just got to walk it in. Now the scanner is showing that I'm too close. That's kind of false right now, because what it is the bottom sensor is seeing that I'm too close. But since I'm trying to dig it into that hole and get into those crevices, that's not actually a true statement. So let's just work at it. See how it's slowly turning green. There we go. Yeah, we're getting that. we're getting way better than I would have ever done on any of my other scanners found any spray. So I mean, we're already at a lot of frames right now. This is kind of a quick demo, but we're able to, so I'm gonna get that side. And this is also beta software, so they're still making tweaks. I will say that this is actually better than the last beta version. Most of this would still be actually orange, so they've improved it so much that like this pretty much instantly turns green. Now I'm just trying to fill in like these areas. And see, it's doing it. Just got to work at it. Slow and steady. It's picking up the bench. I'm trying not to block you guys and still scan, so methods don't merit good technique. Okay, let's see what we look like right now. So I've got it zoomed in. Let's unzoom. I mean, that's a pretty complete valve cover. I do need to get into these crevices, but that's just me going back over on the device. I'm pretty satisfied with that. What I would do is I want to keep trying to scan this with 30,000 frames. I would simply reorientate. I would reorientate, scan another area, flip it, do the next thing. So we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and mark this as complete. We're going to let this load. And what I'm going to do is we're going to flip this guy over. Ooh, this is a little awkward because take my glass bowl, flip it over. Bingo. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and do a new scan. Well, I already see what I did wrong. While I was talking, I set up general instead of dark mode. Dark mode would have ate this up. Oh well. You can see how powerful those lasers were. So let's go ahead and go in black object. And now scan in black object mode. And for that to come up, it's waiting on me. All right, let's go. I usually do like a little test. Make sure it's able to see everything. I'm probably going to reorientate this guy. Remember, this is a new scan, so we can move it. But that right there can't happen. Where it was shaking, we can't have that. All right. Looking at that screen, get into excellent mode. Gee whiz, it kind of scans a lot better when you put it in dark mode. Look at it just eat that up. That's awesome. So I'm going to zoom in. There we go. Pay attention to your distance. I was a little close right there. But I'm trying to get in there deep, and sometimes I'm looking at the scan instead of paying attention to the data, the warnings that it's trying to tell you. So right now I'm kind of blocking the Tracket device. I was. That's why it's flashing. So, not scanning right now. Let's get that inside side. And that thing is shiny right now. It's got years and years of. But look at that flange area. For the data for me to actually reverse engineer something that mounts to this, or actually getting that flange area perfect, I have the data I need right now. I don't necessarily need to go watertight, but since we're here, look at those sides. Just building those in excellently. Now I know it's showing that I'm a little too close, but that's because it's picking up that chair. Let's just do this. Look at that. It's just building it in perfect. So you remember those areas that I wasn't really scanning too well on the other scan? Well, this is your opportunity to catch up. So you can use this pass to catch the stuff that you missed. Orientation's your friend. Let it build up. Turn the scanner different ways, wherever you need to do to get you're going to be painting with a laser. There we go. Getting that side. Looks like I had a bunch of RTV in that corner. Not the problems. I'm just going to let it slowly build in that area. We're going to try to get this sidewall right here. Now, I do realize the need to get this completely watertight. A lot of people want to do that. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that's not really needed. But if you want to do it, you can. But again, it's not really needed and recommended because you're trying to just reverse engineer. But look at that. I've got underneath that pipe area. No, I missed that on that last scan, obviously, because I couldn't get underneath it. But I'm able to look at that. Make sure you get that all populated. See if I can come back and do that side. There we go. Okay. Back over here. Remember, I'm got to be so far from the Tracket device. It's not happy with me right now. I'm a little too close. Please, when you set this up, have enough room. It's very easy to do when you're not trying to have it in frame while you're scanning. But let's get back into proper range. Get that back wall right there. And then, like I said, you're just going to build in the surfaces. Okay. Now, I don't want to make this a 2 hour long video. Got it zoomed in right now. That's the bottom. We got side data. We got that side data. We got that side data. We got enough that we could probably put them together. Now, yes, I need to go over that area right there. It's a deep crevice, but you know, this is where like the single line mode would work into that area. They're still working on the beta section of that. That feature hasn't been perfected yet, but right now in cross mode, this is scanning everything I need for my purposes. So I'm going to go ahead and mark complete. And yeah, both these scans pretty complete. I do need to go back into certain areas. Like I said, we have this scan we can come over, work with. And I mean, this is going to take quite some time, so I'm not going to do this on the camera. But that's the Tracket scanner. It's actually for the value that's probably going to be. I honestly do not know the price because it hasn't been on Kickstarter yet. I simply got this as a test model. I don't know any of the details of what exactly it's going to be priced at, but looking at their track record of bringing economically efficient and priced right scanners, it's probably going to shock you on the value compared to other brands that have similar technology. The two cases that it come in, it's amazing. They have their suitcases with wheels, and actually they shipped it in the cases from one show to the next. So it wasn't like they put it in another box and then shipped it to me. Now these are heavy duty, Pelican cases, watertight, excellent cases. You have two. You have one especially for this guy, and you have one for the scanner. Some of the parts you're going to need both to go out to the field. You're going to need, some of them have the scanning or the tripods from the calibration boards and everything else. So you're not really going to be able to condense it all in one area to go with. This is not going to be a super mobile device, but if you're going out to a field and you need to set this up, you have enough a big enough area to where it can be set up and scan like a vehicle. This thing's probably going to be working pretty excellent. They are going to be able to reposition this. That feature has not been opened up yet, but once they do, what you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to scan. You're going to have one piece of marker somewhere on the device. You're going to have something for it to reference. It has to overlap something. Then you can move this, pick back up, and scan where you're needing, and that's actually pretty awesome. Fortunately, I don't have the space right now to demo that, but I'm hoping that I can kick out this car, and actually start scanning. I'll probably scan this Mustang just because it's yellow. It's probably going to pick up pretty well, and it needs a fuel pump, so it's not moving. The GT500 is red. Unfortunately, blue kind of cancels out red, so I won't be able to scan the GT500 without scan spray or anything, and that's just not happening. But the yellow car, it's going to eat it up. it's going to be able to scan it up good. So I'll be able to kick this car out and scan this side of it. But anyways, this is again, this is my home shop. This is my home scan station. This is where I pretty much make it happen. This is where all my other devices get scanned. And now I've got another device that I really don't have a good home for yet, but I've got some thoughts. I got some ideas. I'm actually thinking that this guy, looking at how they had it mapped at the show, maybe having it on a TV stand that can come out and I can actually have it pointing downward and I just scan. I don't know, I'm going to try it, but I just got this thing and I'm already thinking of stupid ideas. Racers, this is how we do. It's our mind. It's kind of screwed up. Anyways, glad you guys were here for me. Again, Sam Lilly, SkreetKar3D.